reading, writing, and arithmetics. Now we need to add with literacy in terms of financial literacy, cultural literacy, information technology literacy. And on top of that, the World Economic Forum produced a report 2 months ago on the importance of the 21st century competence, that is creativity, critical thinking, collaborations, and communications. So the challenge that we are now facing, disparities, and then we have to prepare the next generations for the challenge that we are not yet seeing the reality. Then our preparations is to enable them to be part of the future by equipping with the 4 C's that I mentioned earlier.
So I just want to follow up one point that you made when you talked about 19th century classrooms. So on a practical level, what is your ministry doing to, let's say, upgrade the hardware? And again, on a specific level, what is your ministry doing to upgrade the quality of your teachers? Parents you can't control. You can never control the parents.
Yes, and they don't want to be controlled. Number one, the phenomenon of 19th century classroom is everywhere. The setting of our classroom is still in the period of the third industrial revolution's era, that we prepare our teachers to be an instructor in the classroom. And that's why the setting is teachers as instructor. Now teachers is more a facilitator. So number one that we're doing is training the teacher to shift the role from instructor into facilitator. So what we did is we're launching a massive teachers training across the country. The size is rather big. We have 2.9 million teachers under our authority, and on top of that, the infrastructure itself we choose not to change in terms of changing the setting of the classroom or anything. No. But we focus more on the teachers, we focus more on making technology available, especially information communication technology. So what we do is we are, for example, we are preparing our exams into a computer-based exams. The idea is to make our exams be an interactive exams, and we're able to provide much of the innovations into our exams. Otherwise, with this large number of students, we will not be able to do that. So, providing technology in our schools, enabling teachers to change its role from instructor into facilitator through trainings. And the fourth one is actually, we're doing it, we are creating a directorate on parenting education. Yes, indeed. And we created this directorate. The idea is to facilitate learning among parents. So successful parents were being interviewed, they share their stories and experience, and we put it into our system that we then distribute it to parents across Indonesia. Through whom? Through our schools. So now schools were required to invite parents twice per semester, and the materials that we have from lesson learned from other parents were being distributed to them. The idea is we have to make sure teachers and parents understand that we all are learners. If you want to be part of the futures, then you really have to understand that we are learners. Not only the students, but also the teachers and parents. And so those are the three things that we're doing.
Well, that's edifying. I think all of us would like to sit in on one of these classrooms. I want to turn to the people in this group who are in the private sector. Kathleen, you know, you're part of a big company, quite diversified conglomerate. When you look at the recruits that you get, what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses for your company where it is now, but also preparing for the future?
Yeah. I think that's a problem that I think a lot of companies face, that kids who come out of school, I'm talking particularly in the Asian context, they're not very good at communicating. I mean, the ones that, I meet, I think they come from a system, of more rote learning. I think that's how our education system here has developed. You go to school, you accumulate knowledge. And then your assessment is just based on what you know, and not, how, not how do you solve a problem, it's what you know. So you're tested and you get straight A's and it's wonderful, and you come out to work and you have to solve a problem. So I think the issue for us is we're seeing young people come in who have a lot of knowledge, who need to be trained again how to apply that knowledge, who don't communicate very well. And again, I feel it's also the assessment system that has created these boxes of the individual. It's my grades, I have to be very careful so that I get all the A's, so I get to the best universities. When you come to a working context, you need to collaborate, need to have teamwork, and you need to realize that when you work together and you build on each other's work, that's going to be more successful. And I think that's why the education systems that have evolved, I think through the Industrial Revolution, where it was repetitive and all you needed to do was learn how to do one thing really well and keep duplicating it. I think that's not going to work going forward. I mean, it's too easy now. If I need some information, I really don't need to remember it, I just call Mr. Google, right? So Mr. Google gives me the answer. But how do I know whether that's the right answer for my situation? So